Hey there, Big Cash crew. This is Richie. I'm back on Monday doing a review on Litecoin, Tron, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Let's get started. All right, Ethereum. Ethereum's looking great. On the weekly, we've got this. Did have a doji. It's good. Now we're on to a new week. We've got a bit of bullish evidence happening there. On the daily, we have had a bit of a retrace, pull back down. Fortunately enough for us, it didn't go lower than this mark, which is great. We have pushed up through that previous management zone. We have pulled back to it, and now we are moving on from there by the looks of things. On the 4 hourly is what we did our analysis on last week. And as you can see, we did leave those arrows in play. Price pulled up to this management zone. It's pulled back to where we estimated the arrows. It did look like it was potentially reversing out of there. However, it did fall deeper and it's moved back up to in the last couple of days. If we do go into a bullish pattern with Ethereum, we do want to see price breaking and holding within this realm here before pulling back and then going again. We want to see a decent retrace. This one was only a 38.2% retrace, which doesn't really mean much. We want to see it deeper. We want to see it pull right back and then move again. It's like a rubber band. Like a rubber band gets pulled and then you bam, let it go. That's what we want to see. It gives the markets momentum. The deeper the pullback, the further the push up. So with this one, as you can see, it's a really shallow one. We're struggling with momentum to get back up now. However, we'll just keep an eye on this and we'll play it by ear. Keep our eyes definitely peeled on it. Next up is Litecoin. So Litecoin is, obviously, we've seen a big, long, bearish run. However, I do believe that we have broken that run. So I might just grab this one. Actually, it'd be a little bit lazy. Let's plot it there. Pull it up. Looks to me like we've broken this run because as you can see, let me just get this exact before I zoom in. Format this bad boy. Right, so as you can see, we've broken through this trend line. So resistance has now become support because we're on top of it. We've pulled up, we've come back, and now we're pulling back away. I would ultimately like to see this move pulling back off of resistance to break above this point and close above here. So we definitely want to be sort of having price come into this zone, come into anywhere around that zone. It's got to be higher than these two previous highs. That was significant resistance. We could also be looking at a potential double top move here and potentially a move back down. However, if my analysis serves me right, I would say that the way things are going in the crypto world, that we are looking at a nice bullish week, maybe 2 weeks ahead. Bitcoin is definitely the obvious indicator of that, and we'll get into that very, very soon. So yeah, Litecoin's looking pretty good. And being one of the primaries, I'd definitely say that if we are to move Litecoin, if the crypto markets are to move, Litecoin will definitely be one of the bigger movers on that play. What we've got next is Tron. Tron itself is, as we did last time, we did that whole analysis on the daily. We did have a bullish week. It wasn't a bullish engulfing week, which was pretty disappointing. However, if it is a sign of things to come, then it's a good sign. If we look at the daily, we'll go back to the daily, and we had that nice big consolidation period right through here. We have pushed up out of that. We've got a pin bar, and price did pull back, but I'm guessing that this is going to be a bullish day for Tron. So we definitely want to see if it is to go bullish and we are looking at a nice new move, then we need to be pushing up above this previous high here and closing. So anywhere from the top of this arrow upwards is where we're probably looking at another reversal point, just to pull back, a retrace, gather momentum, and then push back up. So we're looking at around that dot there that I've, the eclipse I just I drew. That'll basically be the best indicator for us that Tron's on its way up. We want to see it pull back down, just like that whole rubber band theory, pull back, boom, and we want to let it go. And then if we look at on the 4 hourly, we have had this double bottom down here, which is a really significant pattern. So if I draw that end for you, so it's totally recognizable. So double bottom is just basically a W pattern. Okay, so price comes in. So here we go. Price comes in, goes to the first low. Price moves out and creates a high, pulls back down, creates another low, and then price moves on out of there and significantly. So as you can see, that's that nice W pattern forming. So if this retrace is really is going to send us into another trend, then we want to be keeping the fib on this and we want to keep an eye on it. As you can see, we've come down past the 50%, so we do have a lot of that resistance going on, and then bam, we're going to let it go, and hopefully we'll see price come up into that zone which I indicated on the daily. It should be a pretty good week, maybe 2 weeks for Tron if this does take momentum. However, if we don't get enough volume in the market, then we could potentially looking at another consolidation period, which ain't no fun for anyone. Bitcoin. Now, this is what every market is hinged off of, right? So Bitcoin has the, sorry, I'm moving my screen around. We've said this before, Bitcoin has the most marketing, it's the most recognizable coin that we have. It doesn't have any value as in features and benefits, but it does have a store of value. The Winklevoss twins said it best during the week in their interview on CNBC, I think it was. And they said it doesn't hold value as in, say, Ethereum does or Ripple does, or, you know, it doesn't have operational value. It does, however, serve a purpose as in gold. And we've mentioned this many times. Bitcoin as a store of value is better than gold. So that's why everyone's sort of banking on this price to get into like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And in our opinion, we definitely think it will. Its store of value is really significant and it's very unique to anything else in the asset world. So when Bitcoin starts moving, everything else starts moving. Okay, so as soon as Bitcoin goes on a bit of a bullish run, then the rest, you know, Ethereum's going to move up, Litecoin's going to move, Ripple will move with it, maybe Ripple. We'll see what happens with that. But you know, most of the primaries all move in sync, and we'll go on a bullish runs with it. I mean, in sync as in going on a bullish run, not as in sync as I did part 1 last Wednesday. Part 2 will be coming up this Wednesday. So completely different sync. That was that. Excuse me, just to interrupt myself. There's that nice double top there with that massive bearish moves down. Pretty sure I discussed that. Anyway, so yeah, with Bitcoin, we definitely have had a nice move moving up. Now this candle down here, this is not a bullish engulfing. We've got 1, 2. This bullish candle cancelled out that run. If that had have been bearish, then we would have had a nice bear run down, bullish engulfing, and taken off. Now, price does take off. However, it's not an entry point for a trader to enter. So we've had a nice bullish run up. We've come up. We've hit this management zone. Nice support there. We've gone back up. We've hit it again. My problem right now is we've actually ducked lower than this. So this is the current low. That was the previous low. We've actually gone lower. Now, it's not always a negative, because if you look to the right over here, to the left rather, this could be potentially the previous low. Okay, so when we're looking at this, and say price does shoot up here, and we do have a point of interest of the previous low, we could be using these points to gauge it. Okay, so at the moment, if I pull that to there and say that is one move from this low to this high, okay, and that's one move, and we've pulled down to the 38.2% mark. Now, if my analysis was based off of Fibonacci, which it generally is, but ultimately price action, then I'd be right in saying that we're still on a holding period and we're waiting for price to dictate and come back up into these management zones. If I wasn't a Fibonacci freak and I was just going on based on complete and utter price action, this lower low from this one to this one would scare me out of this this asset. I wouldn't want to be doing anything because in my view that is a lower low. So let's see what happens with Bitcoin. We are severely bullish with this candle with an hour and 41 seconds ago, an hour and 41 minutes rather. We'll just keep an eye on this. Ultimately though, we want to see Bitcoin come up. We want to see it push higher than this particular high to say that we are going in an upward trend. This low here could still be classed as a retrace because we are at the 38.2 mark. If it does pull up, we want to be paying attention to this first line of this management zone, and ultimately we need to close inside of that box. Any candle will do. We need a candle to close higher than there, and ultimately if we do see a candle go in there, we want to see one close right there above these previous wicks. If we do see price do that, then we do have a good chance of it going up and meeting this long-term resistance line, and we want to see it retrace back into this management zone and then push up to this next resistance line, which was the which sent us on the bearish trend. Once we've got to that point, we're more than likely going to see another retrace, however deep, and then we will see this zone be penetrated. And when we see it penetrated, we'll be looking at getting up and over this previous high here. See how it's reacted there. There's a wick there that's touched it. Anywhere between there and these ones here. So let's just get this management zone thing going here. And let's really tweak that. There we go. That's a really strong management zone. It's quite deep, but it's going to be pretty effective to your analysis moving forward. So price will, again, probably hit it, pull back, and then go through it. Fingers crossed. Let's see what plays out, kids. And yeah, see if we can't get a couple of good trades. If we do, there's 3 trades there that are absolutely killer, waiting to happen. We could also just see a severely bull run and just run straight up here. Or we could see the retrace pull back and a bull run straight up to this point. This is significant, this bearish downward trend line, and this bullish trend line is the points of significance with Bitcoin turning its ass around. Best way to describe it. Anyway, it is a lot of money to make up. As you know, Bitcoin is stacked on, $2,000 in a day. So it could happen, within 24, 48 hours once the run starts. Again, we're just going to keep our eyes peeled. We're going to be looking for these trades. We're going to be getting in. We're going to be getting out. And we're just going to continually play that in and out game and just keep compounding that cash. More cash all day, mate. Cash all day. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that, and I will be back on Wednesday with part 2 with Eddie P. We're going to do an episode together. So we're going to do part 2 of last week's Wednesday, and yeah, we'll bring you up to speed on what's going on and when it's going on. Until then, keep it real. Ciao.